go for her to sacrifice 6 months or 1 year of her time, go somewhere and work where she can raise money to go to school. Because most of the time it seems that we just want somebody to just give us money while we, and in Nigeria, it's really difficult to get that assistance, especially knowing that we have so many single mothers we have to attend to. I don't know what you have to say about this.
Okay, thank you so much. Honestly, you've really spoken so well, and I also share this aspect of personal development. In fact, that is the first step, as a single mother who has been through all manner of challenges, you find that even though you may look well, but inside of you, you are still hurting, and so the first thing, because I had to go through counseling. I had to go through counseling because it was when I went through counseling that I was able to rediscover myself. So, and then counseling is something that, well, perhaps in Lagos, it's a different thing, but in Nigeria, most times when you talk about counseling, people are, they bring the Bible, they begin to quote, and that's not counseling, But if we have well-trained counselors and psychologists, who can sit with these women one-on-one and then also have group therapy, so that way the women are able to find themselves. That's number one. Nothing else can happen until they're able to find themselves. Now, in finding themselves, they're going to be able to identify their strengths, and identifying that will help them to regain their self-esteem, which needs to go up. Now, and then also they'll be able to find their values, because that way they can now begin to align their choices with those values. Now, until those things are done, the woman continues to live like a victim, and then she feels that the only way she can survive is by asking people to give, and it's not healthy. Truly, it's not healthy. We've been there before, because when, you can imagine someone who was once married, had a good house and all manner of things, children in good schools, and then all of a sudden, you have nothing, so there's that fear, because you're thinking, you're gripped by fear, and then you're thinking, how am I going to cope with these children, even with myself? How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to do all those things? So once you're able to, I think that's the first thing. First things first. Now, all the women who have signed up as single mothers, I believe the first thing they need is the counseling, the one-on-one counseling and the group counseling. Now, once they've gone through the counseling stage and they are certified okay, I mean, you can always tell a woman who feels more empowered, by the way she reasons, the way she speaks. Then those are the kind of women you can say, okay, now what do you want to do with yourself? Because she's gone through this personal development class, she's able to identify those things that she can do. Sometimes we have talents that we don't even know that we have. So once she's able to identify this, and then she says, okay, do you know, I've always been good at braiding hair. I didn't know that I could do anything with it. I find it comes so naturally to me, or that I can make clothes or cook or whatever it is. Then we can now begin, teaching that woman how to make a business plan. A business plan tailored to talent or skills, and then when you now give such a woman money to set up a business, then she's going to do it. But if we jump all these stages and then give money, tomorrow she'll come back again and ask you for more money, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy for them. It's not healthy for the ones that are giving. So, and then another thing that also came to mind while you were speaking is not everybody is cut out to do business. Some can work, And I was happy when you mentioned the nanny business. Somebody can become a nanny, and that's a good one, or a caregiver, a nanny or caregiver. But before you can become any of those things, you need to heal first, so that you don't take your frustration out on somebody else.
Yes, absolutely.
And then part of that healing process is being able to forgive the one who hurt you. You see, and that's the very difficult one. Because most times we say, okay, it's fine, I want to move on, I want a new life. But you can have a new life until you're able to forgive the one who hurt you and let go, And then that's when you now say to yourself, okay, I've gone through this, it's hurt me so badly, but I'm a new person, and now I'm ready to move on with my life. And then another thing that I thought of was, if one is able to, like, for instance, if we had the funds, the funds were available, to set up maybe a factory, if there were funds available for that, a factory or a farm, that takes on a lot of single mothers, so it becomes a place where they can come and work, because you must work for a living, you can't sit, because that's part of the healing process, and because that's what is going to restore your confidence, is going to restore your self-esteem, knowing that every morning you get up, you go somewhere, you work, and then you earn a living. And then that kind of money, when it comes, you're able to channel that money into something productive. And then even the children, the woman's children will also learn that there's dignity in labor. So you don't just sit and then money comes. If we grow with that mentality, it's also going to affect the children, because they're all just going to grow up thinking that all I need to do is to go begging. I mean, on the streets, there's so many people begging, for one thing or the other. And then if the government doesn't do anything to stop this trend, it's really going to affect us in the long run. So, like, now, assuming there's no finances to set up a factory or a farm, one can, just like how you said, there are places that one can contact, factories that make water, that bread, whatever it is, soap and all that, and then selling this idea to them. Okay, we have these women, they've gone through personal development classes, they're healed, or they are healing, but the only way their healing can become total is if they have something productive to do. So can you take on at least 10 of our women, give them jobs, and then if the factory or the farm or the whatever it is says, okay, every year give us 10, that way women are being empowered, and then a woman that comes out of that, is able to say, okay, I've been working here for the past 3 years, I've saved up money, I actually want to go back to school or something like that, because that woman is now empowered to make such choices, So for me, first thing is that counseling is needed by trained counselors and psychologists, so that way the women are able to find themselves and find what, just like what you said, you were talking to one who said, what you're suggesting is not for me, so which means perhaps she's been thinking, or maybe she hasn't even been thinking, So if we look at counseling first, personal development classes, sometimes, you really have to, I remember a time when I had, my children were so little, and I was working 2 jobs, carrying them from house to house, please keep them, things like that, because I couldn't afford daycare, so keep them, let me go to work from this job, I move on to this other job, and I was doing that to survive. You know, and I remember when I used to have just one pack of spaghetti. You know, they were very little then. I'll cook this packet of spaghetti for my children. You know, and then they're asking me, Mom, aren't you eating? And I'm like, no, you know, I'm fine.
I'm
Because
okay.
I'm thinking to myself, if there's anything left out of it, you know, I can save it for times you go without. The one ahead is much more than where you are, you know. So, and you can only begin to think like that when you've passed through this counseling process, this personal development, you've had that talk with yourself, asking yourself, who am I? Why am I here? There must be a reason why I'm passing through what I'm passing through. And I don't think that God wants me to just suffer and die. So if I have passed through this challenging period and come out still alive, then there's a purpose. There is a purpose, you know.
Wow.
So that's what I think.
Beautiful. I'm really glad because it becomes so real when it is someone who is gone through this experience herself speaking. So if you're a single mother listening out there, I want you to know that you're not alone. Jane is telling her own story, how she struggled. I myself, I was once there and it wasn't easy. We can agree with that. And that's why we are ready and out. Jubicare Foundation is ready, and I know Jane herself is ready. She's a very busy person. I've been trying so hard to get her to have this Zoom meeting with us, and we have to make it happen. So we are ready to do whatever it takes to teach you, to bring counselors, to bring people that will teach you how to run a business. And ultimately, our bigger plan is that we will have a center where these women can come, and probably, depending on how large the place is, we can decide to bring 10 women or 15 women into the space, have work they are doing from sewing to farming to doing different kinds of things that will be very productive while they are also learning, so that they are not just learning, because my fear is that most of these women, they need long-term healing. It's not just something you do, oh, let's hold a seminar, let's have a workshop where you talk to these women, and then they go back to square one, which is the main reason why we had to form this group, so that everything you need, you can ask your questions, we can bring resource persons in this group to teach what you need to know to grow. You need to discover yourself. That's the key. You need counseling. That is key. You need to learn, first of all, what you want to do, because most of the time you don't even know what you want, what you need. You don't even know. And I believe that before you are done with counseling, you will arrive at what you want, what you really want to do. So I don't know if we have questions from any single mother so that we respond and then wrap up. Any question? Let's see here. Is there any question? Okay, while we're waiting for them to ask questions, we would keep doing this, Jane. I think it's something that we have to do over and over again so that this will sink in. We know that we need money. We know that we need help. Like most of the women this Christmas, their interest was, we needed money for Christmas clothes for our children. We needed food and all that. I know the desire of every mother is to have beautiful clothes for the children. But if you ask me if that's what you need now, I say, no, that's not what you need. I remember a Christmas when there was no clothes for my children, there was no food, there was really nothing. But what I focused more is not about Christmas clothes. Even if anybody gave me money that Christmas, I wouldn't use it for Christmas clothes. What my interest was, what can I do to be stable? What can I do so that the next Christmas I will have beautiful clothes and buy goodies for my children? That was my interest. And that's what I ask these women to do. I ask you, please. I know that the times are hard. I know that it is difficult to see other children playing, having different toys, beautiful clothes, and then yours doesn't have it. You are not abandoned. God loves you so much. He gave his whole life for you. So, and he's ready to do anything to save you. All you need to do is to pay attention. You need to know what you have to do. Most of the time, what we go through is just a waking moment for us. Like me, what I went through was just like waking up. I was down for me to feel the pain every single mother felt. I had to feel it. I had to stay in lack for quite some time. But then I had to still be ready. I had people who assisted me, who helped me go through life situations, who helped me channel my desires and what I wanted to do, to help me do it right. I had people who supported me. I have a family in Nigeria here who was like my backbone, the Anyonye's family. My first job they gave me, and the job they gave me was because they saw how passionate I was about life, how passionate I was about growing, about being better. And I had begun the journey of counseling, I've begun the journey of reading, I've begun the journey of discovering myself, asking the bigger question, who am I and what am I here for? I began to ask myself, what do I want to do? What am I passionate about? What are my biggest dreams? What are my dreams? What are my visions? So these are the things they saw in me that made them give me the first job they gave me. And when they gave me that job, I handled it very well. And that job is led to so many other jobs for me. So when people ask, how did you get here? It's because I was ready. And when you're ready, I tell you, God gives you all you need.
Yeah.
Once you're ready, God gives you everything you need. And like me, I have so many bigger visions, so many bigger dreams for these single mothers. For me, we are going into informal education. We are going into people learning what they truly need to do, apart from just having a degree, because many of these women are degree holders, but still they are lost. They don't know what to do. So beyond just having the formal education, the informal education will also give you what to life. You have to know a bit about psychology. You have to know a bit about personal development. You have to know a bit about some of these things so that it helps you to live life how you want to live it. So that it's not just, oh, what do I do to save myself? Is what am I supposed to be doing? And the moment you align yourself to who you are and who you ought to be, everything falls in place. Even right now, myself, I might have the target of a project of, let's say, 100 million, right? I don't have 100 million right now, but I know that until I am ready with all the plans that I will use for this 100 million, that 100 million will not come. If there's anybody who stays with me, you will always hear me say that I live in abundance. Yes. When I say that I live in abundance, I believe that success is not just how much you have in your bank account. Success is the ability to feel financially free at all times, to be able to accomplish your dreams. And accomplishing your dreams comes with plans. God is waiting for you to finish all the plans, the ones that is in your own reach. Once you're done that, he unlocks. It's like a game. He unlocks the next step for you. When you're done with that, he unlocks the next step for you. So what you really need is to be so passionate about making it, about being successful, not in the wrong sense of it. Not like every other person wants to be successful because and buy a car and buy a house. You only need a house one at a time. You only can drive a car one at a time. So you want to be successful because you want to help others, just like I'm doing. You want to help others heal. You want to teach them how. You want to teach them how to find themselves. Ask yourself as a single mother right now, if someone attacks you and chokes your neck so hard that you are choking and you are fighting to get some air. If someone asks you at this moment, what do you need? What do you want? What can I do for you? What is the one thing I would do for you? What would be your answer? I bet you will say, please, can I have some air? You won't be talking about food. You won't be talking about rent. You won't be talking about clothing. You will want air so bad. So if your poverty is gotten so bad that you don't even have what to eat, are you passionate and ready enough to say, what I need right now is to develop myself? What I need right now is asking the real question, what can I do to come out of this situation? How can I heal? Once you have that need, that urgent need, the problem will be solved. Always remember that God is waiting for us to make the step, to decide to be successful, to decide to heal. And the moment you make that decision and you're open, every other thing falls in place. So I would want, if you've not asked any question, keep up with your question. Are there any questions? So if you've not asked questions, do ask some questions, because we're still going to come back maybe in the coming weeks to talk about this. But basically, Jane, I think we will begin with the general questions that can help them ask deeper questions about themselves. So we'll send some materials for them so that throughout the season, it will help them to think and question themselves, what do I really want? Jane, please, what's the last take you have for our single mothers?
Okay, the last thing I want to say is this foundation is offering a support system. It's a support system because most times when you're lonely, when you're hurting, you have no one to turn to, and it makes the hurting even much more. But knowing that there's a Juby Care Foundation that you can reach out to, and you can speak, you can talk about whatever it is that bothers you, and somebody is there to listen. It also makes the thing a little bit better, so take it as a support group, a support system, for the single mother. And then another thing I want to also advise is patience. Patience. Rome was not built in a day. That you're seeing Uju Azonta today looking all pretty and rich and everything. It didn't just happen overnight. The same thing with my case. I mean, I told the story of when, I only had a packet of spaghetti, to give my children, and I had nothing else. So all these things didn't happen in one day. So be patient, go through the process, and going through that process is what will build a character in you, ready for where God is taking you. So most times we're impatient. We want it all to happen overnight, and it doesn't happen that way. God doesn't work that way, No. So, and then the last thing is there's dignity in labor, Nothing is demeaning, So don't say, okay, look at me. I used to live in a mansion, and then now you're telling me come and work in a factory or in a farm or be a nanny or whatever it is. There is dignity in labor. I remember when I used to look after the elderly, I was a caregiver. I was, doing that willingly. There was a time I was working in the kitchen, helping the cook with the food, clean pots, wash this, wash that. All I just wanted was at the end of the week, pay me so that I can put food on the table. Today, like I said, I've written books. I'm now working at the university. I'm doing so many things. I, have a radio program, so many things. But I went through the process, and as I was going through that process, God was building a character in me, So that's what I would want to advise my fellow single mothers, go through the process. Don't be in a hurry. Don't feel you've been abandoned. As at the time I was going through, it was just that counselor that I used to go to, I could open up to. And I thank God for that, because prior to that, I thought, oh, I've had enough. I was almost going to commit suicide, thinking that God didn't want me, nobody wanted me. Until God led me to the counselor who patiently and painstakingly, helped me to rediscover myself. And today the story is different.
Thank you so much, Jane. I'm so glad to have you. Like you heard Jane say, she's written so many books. We're going to introduce her books in my book club. Jane, we're going to have your book in my book club soon so that people can enjoy your write-ups. And I also say that you've heard it all from Jane, that it's patience. Nobody is packing money somewhere to just keep bringing out. Most of the things you have in Jubilee Care Foundation is my hard-earned money. And then so many people who try to reach out to us want to contribute. But we can't even constantly asking people for money. One of the things I know that we are going to do very soon is to establish a business that these single mothers can work so that we have something we are producing. But that's why I want them to first of all go through counseling. I want to be able to know what each individual is willing and ready to do so that you're not just doing something because you want money. You're doing something you enjoy doing, you're passionate about. It will bring productivity. And when you do that, if it's clothes we are making, we sell them, then we have money to send our children in school. And probably very soon we'll have our own school. Jubilee Care Foundation will have their own school so that we can bring in these children together and not just teach the formal education, but give them the informal education they need to stand in a country like Nigeria, that you need really to rediscover yourself and channel your energy to your passion, channel your energy to why you are here, to finding your purpose here on earth. So thank you so much, Jane. I'm glad to have you, to share this moment with you. Jane is a sister. I'm just so glad that I found her. And I know that together we're going to find so many other passionate single mothers who are ready to work with these women and help them uplift themselves and be the best version of their best self. So thank you so much, Jane, as we sign out for today. I thank all single mothers who are listening. I just want you to know that, yes, you're hungry today. If God has not taken the breath of your life, it means that you have a reason to be here. I have a reason to be here, and that's my hope each and every passing day. So don't lose hope. Don't say that God has abandoned you or you can't find money or you don't have this. Remember that being in this platform is a sign that God loves you. That's the reason why you bumped into us. And together we are going to get to living the life of our dreams. So thank you, everyone, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.